Shalom, everyone. This video is also about the continued journey of Abram as he traveled through ancient North America. But there's a point that needs to be made about America and the occupants and how America was populated at an ancient time that's not being taught. Here in Bereshit, the 13th chapter, we read at the 12th verse, Abram dwelling in the land of Canaan, and Lot or Lot dwelling in the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent as far as Sedom. Now, this is the point I want to make. The cities that were already here in America, that's the point that needs to be made. Because as we read in the traditional historical narrative, we're told that these cities weren't built. But the Bible says something completely different. See, we got to think about the story of the European coming to America and bringing civilization to America. The problem is a lot of what's been told about America is fairy tale. Let's read this. It says the Mayflower Pilgrims landed at Plymouth Rock in 1620, founding one of America's earliest settlements. We just read in Bereshit and 12 that Lot, dwelling in the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent as far as Sedom. Now, this is not the first time we read about cities here in America, but the Bible is telling us about ancient cities. We've already talked about ancient Hebron, ancient Bethel, ancient Memphis. So I felt before we go any further, we need to talk about the cities that were already here. It says, their legacy endures through approximately 35 million descendants, highlighting the profound impact of their journey on American history. So let's go to a very reliable, in my opinion, historian regarding the individuals that came here supposedly during the 1600s. Here it says most early settlers were convicts. Now, this is from J. Rogers, Africa's gift to America. Now, a lot of things that J. Rogers writes about is a part of the historical narrative that we deal with every day regarding the African contributions or the African movements here to America. But as I've already shown, it was in reverse. The knowledge left America and went to Africa. So I don't want anybody to be confused about that. But here, we're going to deal with J. Rogers talking about the early so-called settlers of America. If then the colony was to be peopled, how could it be? Stockholders in the Virginia venture found the answer. Use it as a place of punishment. Ship the convicts and others of England's unwanted there. Why hang a strong man for stealing a shilling or breaking into a shop when you could use his labor? In 1611, Governor Dale urged James I to banish all condemned persons to Virginia. Before that, they were shipped to India, but the voyage round the Cape was long and costly. America was so much nearer. Those from Oxford Gaol were sent, and young people with previous criminal records. And so as slavery lessened cannibalism, transportation to America made less work for the English hangman. One can imagine the rage of sadistic Chief Justice Jeffreys, who used to send offenders to the gallows in droves at this arrangement. So, as I said, these individuals that came to America didn't do any civilizing. They had to be civilized. Plus, the story of the European coming to America, we have to realize hasn't been told correctly. So when you think about someone coming from another country, they're giving their perspective. More than anything, these cities in America, most of these large cities were already built. This thing called the 1619 Project, or this coming to Plymouth Rock, was all a fairy tale. And it still is. And it's being taught in schools. This is the problem. We need to go back to the truth. And that's the reason for this channel and these videos here. Better Sheep, the 13th chapter, starting at the 13th verse. But the men of Sodom were evil and sinned before Yahweh, exceedingly so. And after Lot or Lot had separated from him, Yahweh said to Abram, now lift up your eyes and look from the place where you are, northward and southward and eastward and westward. For all the land which you see, I shall give to you and your seed forever. And I shall make your seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man could count the dust of the earth, then your seed also could be counted. Arise, walk in the land through its length and its width, for I give it to you. So Abram moved his tent and went and dwelt by the terebinth trees of Mamre, which are in Hebron, and built an altar there to Yahweh. So, understanding that this land was given to Abram to give to his seed, and that has already happened. The thing is, we have to teach this. In North America, and if not, I'm not mistaken, part of South America is that land. So if you like the videos, subscribe, push the like button. And with that, I should bid you shalom, peace, and prosperity.